Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I have some rather short Yak 9 gameplay for you. Now this is the very first Yak 1 that you can unlock, and mine is actually really stock. There's only a couple of upgrades. I think I only have maybe 4 upgrades in total, one of which being the ammo belts for the 12.7mm machine gun. Now, so as far as performance goes, I can't really tell you that much. However, I do plan on making another video on this plane because it is rather enjoyable to fly, and I think it deserves some attention. However, there are some very dangerous opponents at this BR. Certain Spitfires and Hurricanes can be very dangerous because the Hurricanes can turn on a dime and, well, if you go close range knife fighting with 7.7s, it's not going to work out too nicely for you. Now, first target up is a Spitfire. Spitfire seems to be very occupied with shooting at one of our friendlies, and then he turns away to try and re-engage, I presume, which gives us a good burst into him. Now, one thing that the default ammo belts in the Shivak 20mm are quite known for is not doing damage, but not doing sufficient damage to actually rip off a wing. It might damage a whole lot of control surfaces, but it won't rip off a wing or set someone on fire. Now, second target up is a P40, and he seems to be struggling to keep himself in the air. Now, I was going quite fast, so I only got a short burst into him, but it seems to be enough. However, I do think that the fact that I got that kill is mostly down to the fact that he was damaged before, I presume, his engine. Now, there is a lot of enemies behind us, and there's not an awful lot of friendlies with us. So, I will really have to use my speed and altitude, and really use it as an energy fighter. Now, this Hurricane was looking like he came up for me, but then one of my I-16 friends came in, and I don't know if he did any damage to him, but at least he made him turn off. Now, right here, I managed to get a very nice, solid burst into him, very concentrated into the wing, therefore taking it out. And, well, as I said a little before, there were a lot of enemies around and not an awful lot of friendlies, and that has just now dramatically changed. Their team has basically all died off, and our team is basically all here, taking out the remainder of the enemies. Now, there's one Spitfire, so I'm gonna go try and help my friendly out by supporting him, and it looks like my friendly actually got taken out by this Spitfire, and it's a 2B, so it is a very dangerous Spitfire because it has 20mm. Now, I put some rounds into him. They don't seem to do any damage, but he ends up hitting the ground, and I don't know whether that was due to my the damage that I did to him or something else, but that doesn't really matter because we got the kill for it anyways. Now I'm going to put a little jump cut here because the next action resumes in about 3 minutes. Now, one of our friendlies has put up a blind hunt order because he was, I guess, getting a little bit sick of trying to look for him. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm using the mountains for cover because while the blind hunt is active, I can see him, but he can't see me. So, I would rather stay hidden for as long as possible than just show myself outright. Now, it does look like I won't be having any backup from my friendlies because I'm the only one around here. Now, I do a little burst into him because I think he's going to commit for the head-on, but he doesn't. And then he actually turns very defensively and actually makes a complete U-turn almost, therefore putting himself right in front of me, which I kind of didn't understand, but that doesn't really matter. Now, I try to get some Shivak-only hits on, trying to take him out, but it only manages to get me some hits. Now, as he stalls up for me, I managed to actually kind of dunk my shots there. I don't really know why. Sometimes in that situation it can be rather hard to hit your opponent, but I only got some hits out of that. Now I'm turned back around, and I just do a very little burst, and I actually managed to take out his tail control surfaces from the front of his plane, which, well, with 12.7s even, is, well, I guess a pretty decent accomplishment. Now I will be putting another jump cut here because this one will take quite long. It will be 10 minutes before we see the last enemy. Now, after having flown to their airfield, rearmed, and flown back while activating a Avenger order to try and find him, we are finally here. Now, I am going to be quite careful because a Yak is most certainly not a bomber hunter, even if it has, for example, 320 mils like the Yak 3P. The only planes that you can really do that is with the Yak 19K, in my opinion, because the Shafak guns simply don't do enough damage to bombers. Against fighters they're great, but they really don't work against bombers very well. Now, another thing is, the 7.7s, even though they're low caliber, they can really put a hurt on your control surfaces, and they can also be very bad news for your fuel tanks. Now, our first two passes didn't yield very much success, and I'm just trying to at all times stay above him and make sure that his tail gunner gets the least amount of time on target. Now I really spray into him here. The first part of the spray really didn't do that much, but the second part did. And right now I notice that his tail gunner is out, so I can really take my time to try and take out his engine or set it on fire. Now, I don't know. At this point, I'm also thinking that his tail controls might be damaged a little bit because I don't really know what he's doing here. But I have run out of cannon ammo. But I'm just going to be putting most of my ammo that I have remaining in. I'm going to now aim for the other engine because, well, at that point I still thought that he was going to be able to make it out, but it does look like I indeed took out his tail control and therefore ending the game. Now, that in the end results in a 5-kill victory for us, which is most definitely not bad. Now, as always guys, I do hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one.